Merry Christmas, everybody. What you're looking at here is my Christmas gift that I bought for myself. This is a Wicked Root grapple from everythingattachments.com. Let me just say, Everything Attachments did not sponsor this video or help me out in any way, shape, or form. I wanted a grapple. This grapple is mounted on a 2017 LS 4145. It's a 45 horsepower tractor. I wanted a grapple right out of the get-go. As soon as I got this tractor, I wanted a grapple. I do a lot of firewood. I get my wood by the pulp cord, and I also pull it off the property. And in times past, I had to cut the wood and drag it myself, put it on a trailer, pull it behind the old tractor. I wanted to make it easier. I mean, people are like electricity. We all like the path of least resistance, and this grapple is definitely that. I shopped around quite a bit, and I saw the reviews. Everybody was raving about the Everything Attachments Wicked Root grapple, and I saw a lot of knockoff grapples, the cheaper ones, that looked similar, but they weren't the same. And I was like this close to pulling the trigger and buying one of those, because I could literally get one for half the cost of what I paid for this grapple. Then I started reading the reviews on them, and I started seeing what people were saying that bought them. And one of the most common reviews from people, they said you get what you pay for. And that's true, right? That's true in everything. You get what you pay for. The second biggest complaint people had on the other grapples was that these jaws don't open up, these clam tops don't open up high enough. And they were saying they only opened up 25 inches, and I thought, well, 25 inches, that's not very big. I want to be able to grab a lot of stuff and move it. And so I started looking at all the reviews, and they all did say that. I went to the Everything Attachments website, and theirs said that they opened up to like 37 or 38, just over 3 feet, I believe. And I'm not sure where they measure from, but if you look right, I don't know, you can't see that, but we're right around 37 inches, depending on if we measure from the top to the bottom. And we're about 36 inches. I'm not really sure where they measured from, but nonetheless, I mean, this is quite a bit. I mean, it's over a foot more than what the other grapples opened up. And what people were saying was, with the other grapples, if you went into a brush pile, because these clams were way down here, they didn't open up enough, you're actually just kind of bulldozing, kind of pushing the stuff, rather than being able to get a lot of it in here and then closing these down and to bite onto it. So that was a big selling point for me, was the fact that this opens wider than the other ones. And I wanted the double clam because the firewood, the scrap metal, the brush piles, you know, with the single clam, I'm sure it works pretty good. I mean, I'm sure it really does. But with this one, you can have uneven clamping. You'll have the same clamping force, but you can have an uneven load, I guess you could say. This one could be way up here, and this one could be all the way down here, and they're still putting the same amount of pressure. It doesn't hurt the grapple. Whereas if you just had the one in the center, you know, you'd kind of be binding one side, or it might not grab as good. I don't know. I just thought this was best for what I needed. I talked to the tractor guy, the dealer where I bought the tractor from, and he told me that a lot of people are putting smaller grapples on their tractors. Like my tractor takes a 72-inch bucket, a 6-foot bucket. He suggested I go with a 5-foot grapple. His reason for that was the grapples are so heavy that if people put a grapple on their tractor the same size as their bucket, that takes away half your lifting capacity. So this tractor can lift 2,750 pounds. That's what it says it can lift out here. So if I put a grapple on here that was close to 1,000 pounds, well, now I cut a third out of my lifting equation. So I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be careful, but I still wanted a big grapple. I mean, we want big, right? I bought a big tractor. I want a big grapple. So I looked at the weight, because I never paid attention to the weight before. So I went back on those websites. A couple of them are off eBay. There's a couple dealers down south that had them. And the guy was right. Their grapples weighed like 800 pounds or close to it, give or take. That's a lot of weight. Now, the tractor can clearly handle it. That's not an issue for the tractor. But then I thought, well, let me see what Everything Attachments has. This grapple, as you see it, this is a 72-inch, 6-foot grapple, double clam, weighs 470 pounds. So it weighs almost half of what those other grapples weigh. And I don't know if the truth to this. I mean, everybody says their product is the best, but Everything Attachments advertises that they use high-strength steel. The third complaint that caught my attention the most in the reviews on the cheaper grapples was that they said that these teeth bend. And they said as soon as you use it a little bit, you're going to back out of a pile of wood or whatever, you're going to have bent teeth. Well, I don't want that. So if I can pay more money for a lighter grapple that's stronger, I'll do that any day of the week. And I'm really happy with it. I can't really say a whole lot about it because longevity-wise, I don't know. I've only had it about a week and I've only used it 2 days. But I did use the heck out of it those two days that I used it. I will show you some other features on this. Let me start the tractor up and close the clamps here. Okay, come on over here with me. Now, a lot of the other grapples, the pivot points for these clams, I guess you'd call them, were just 2 ears welded to this with a bolt, literally a bolt through here. 2 ears here. Some of them had 1 ear with a bolt going through this. Same over there. No, non-greasable. It just blew my mind. I couldn't believe that. This thing here is built heavy. I mean, this has a 3/8 ear here, a 3/8 ear here. Big solid pin going all the way through it, and it's greasable. There's a grease fitting there and a grease fitting there. Each one of those has 2 grease fittings in them. Another thing that is pretty neat with this thing is these hydraulic rams are serviceable, but in the event that you had to replace one, you can buy these right at any tractor store, and all you have are cotter pins right here, cotter keys on each end. You pull those cotter keys out and these big pins just slide out, unhook your hoses, and you've got your hydraulic ram off of there. It's that simple. The other ones weren't that way. Another neat feature, move you up here so you can see. These hydraulic lines have swivels in them right here. So as you're going up and you're moving the grapple back and forth, your lines can swivel. See that right there? I didn't see that on the other ones. And I imagine there's probably enough give in the lines where they could, twist back and forth without an issue for now. But eventually, over time, that's going to become an issue, and you're going to end up damaging your hoses. Now, anybody who's watching my video who already has one of these is going to say, hey, you're missing something, and you're right, I am. The grapple came with this spring right here, and then this mount. These are plastic right here, and these hoses mounted in it, and this spring went right here like that, which was nice, and I understand it's to keep these lines from getting tangled up in whatever it is that you're trying to grab a hold of. But the problem is when I tip the grapple all the way down, which I do for moving my wood, this spring is so strong that it really pulled on these hoses pretty hard up in here, and it just made me uncomfortable, the amount of tension it held on it. So I thought I'm going to take it off and I'm going to give it a try without it. If need be, I could put a bungee cord or something on here to kind of hold these down. But if a guy's watching what he's doing, you're not going to have an issue anyways. And I would think if somebody's going to spend a couple $1,000s on a piece of equipment like this right here, they probably have an idea of what they're doing. So as long as you watch what you're doing, you're not going to have an issue. So I took this off. I'm going to run it without. I see other videos with guys that have it on, but maybe other tractors, maybe it fits better, but this is what I did. So I'm going to leave that off. The grapple on this particular tractor, I don't have a third function valve. So what I did was I ran lines from the back to the front. See them coming up right here. I bought this bracket and I just removed one of the existing bolts and put a longer bolt in to secure the lines down. I've got it kind of loose so that it can move a little bit until I find the sweet spot, I guess wherever it's going to be from using the grapple and from twisting it down. You'll see here in a minute when I take you outside that it does get these lines not tight but close to tight. So I'm going to leave that loose until I figure out where that needs to be, and then I'll tighten it down. But all I did was I had hydraulic lines made up, and they run from here up along, down. I've even got them in the the S shape right here, down under the tractor, and all the way around to the back. And the LS comes with 2 sets of remotes. The blue one here, this one has detent, so I didn't use that one. I tied it into the green set here, and I had 90s coming out just like that, because I didn't want a big loop of hose hanging out back here, something that's going to get tangled up in the 3-point, because I plan on leaving these lines on. I don't plan on taking them off. And if anybody's wondering the easiest way to measure this out, use a piece of rope. I just tied a piece of rope back here to this, and I ran the rope under the tractor all the way down there, and I ran it up, and I used zip ties to secure it. You see, I don't have these zip tied yet because I was adjusting this valve right here. This is basically a restrictor valve for the bucket pivot, like this right here, because from the factory these things go real fast and they get kind of floppy down at the bottom, the same as the New Hollands. A lot of guys are complaining about that online. My dealer found the fix, and it's this right here, and he tells me that the New Hollands from this point forward that are going to they're going to come with this valve from the factory eventually. Every one that he sells, he puts this on right away, and all it is a restrictor, and there's a little screw, set screw right there, and a little Allen head screw. And if you look, I don't know if you can see, but there's lines that are different colors, so you can tell how far out you turn it. You lock it down and try it. Mine came a little bit tight, so my bucket was a little bit slow to pivot, to drop. So I just loosened that up a little bit, tighten it back down. But I'm gonna zip tie these hydraulic lines up to these ones right here, but they're loose enough. There's enough slack in them. They run the same exact way that the factory ones do. So enough about that. Let me take you outside and give you a little demonstration of what I've used it for so far. Obviously, this thing has probably a million different uses, and what I'm using it for right now is to move my firewood. My firewood's too far away from my wood boiler because the semi-truck couldn't get in close enough to dump it, so I'm just grabbing the logs as they are and moving them, and this thing is just phenomenal. I mean, it literally takes a day's work and you're done in 20 minutes, and I'm not going to lie, it's kind of fun when you do it. So let me shut the camera off. I'll take you outside, get you set up, and we'll take the tractor out there and get some action video. It's Christmas Day. It's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, northern Michigan. It's 11 degrees and snowing, and it's very cold out. This segment of the video, there's a big log right there. I don't want to deal with that log right now. I have renters living in this house. I've purchased a new house with my girlfriend. We haven't yet moved my shop into it, so I'm still using the shop. So part of the deal is they get free heat as long as they help tend the boiler. The boiler I have hooked up, it heats the shop, it heats the house, and it heats the hot water in the house. So it's a benefit for them big time, especially up here. And being that there's only propane out here, there's no natural gas, so heating costs are quite high. Long story, whatever. This big log was in that pile, and when I grabbed it out of the pile with the forks, I didn't have an option other than to dump it with the rest of the wood. They don't want to deal with it because it's too big. I understand that. I don't want to deal with it, so I just left it there and I cut around it until the day I got the grapple hooked up. I was able to just reach down and just grab a hold of it with the edges of the clam and the grapple and pick it up and move it effortlessly. It is so cool. So I just want to take a quick second here to show you. I'm not going to do anything with the log. I'm just going to grab it and pick it up so you can see how easy it is to manipulate stuff with this grapple. It's just wonderful. That pile of wood right there that you're looking at is the wood that I bought this past summer. I don't feel that I got a good deal on that wood because it's all twisted and gnarly. It seems like it's all treetops and branches, so it's proving pretty difficult to move. It was extremely difficult with the forks. Every time I grabbed wood off that, it would spill off the sides of the forks, and it just aggravated the heck out of me. It's still not super easy to move with the grapple, but I can grab it, knock it down, then I can pick it up, stack 4 or 5 logs on the ground, scoop them up with the grapple, and it still makes it so I never have to get off the seat of the tractor, which I like. And in the grand scheme of things, it makes it easier and it speeds things up. This is what's left of my firewood from last year that I bought the year prior. It's real dry stuff. It's quite a bit bigger, so it's kind of a pain in the butt because my wood boiler, it takes up to a 44-inch log. So what I basically do is I take an 8-foot log that comes off the truck, I cut it twice, and I throw it in. Well, my wood splitter can't cut or can't split a log that is that long, so I split it sideways. It does split. It's a pain in the butt, and you got to fight with it. But just for the sake of the video, I haven't grabbed any wood off this pile yet with the grapple, and I thought I would give it a try. So this is and I mean there's not even tracks in the snow, so this is going to be a first time thing. Let me get you a little bit closer. The viewfinder makes it look like you're a mile away here. So I'm not sure quite how it'll work, but I know it will work. Bigger logs just means less logs in the grapple each time, but I'll grab from this pile a couple times, and then I'll move you over to the crappy pile that I've been struggling with prior to getting this grapple. Okay, this pile of wood behind me, as you can see, this is my gnarly, nasty, twisted, crappy wood. And it just, using the forks doesn't work, because you'll stick the forks into the wood, you'll pull them back, you'll think you've got a big massive load of wood. As soon as you back out, logs fall off both sides because they're weighted different, they're different lengths. It's just terrible wood. I won't buy wood from this guy again. So it's still a bit of a struggle, even with the grapple, but the grapple still makes it incredibly easy. I'll show you. Basically, I'll just pull the wood down, pick them up a couple at a time as I can, and I'll stack them up on the ground. When I get enough of them laid out on the ground, I'll use the teeth of the grapple to push them all tight, and then I'll roll the grapple, and then I'll pinch the clam, and most of the time it'll pick up, maybe 4 or 5 logs at a time. Most of the time it'll pick up whatever I put down there, so check it out.